It's Huddle Up. We're back for another episode. With me is Rob Clark, as always, and our guests tonight are from the 1991 team that went 10-2 or 10-3 overall. We got Shayne and we got Jeff Fickes, a couple of Hall of Famers. How you guys doing?
Welcome, gentlemen.
Good day, Fran, Rob, Jeff.
Good
Doing
to have
great.
you.
Thanks for having us. We
Yeah.
always appreciate coming on.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, man. So, this is we're focusing on we're calling like legendary teams, and you guys definitely had one. That 1991 team. I always focus on the defense. It was a dominant defense, and you guys can fill us in on that. But when did you know in the course of the year that you guys were going to be a solid team?
I thought about that question, Fran, when you sent it out, and I think going into the season, we thought we were probably going to be okay, and then we won a few games, and then we came up against Kutztown, and we're getting our ass kicked at halftime. And Rocky came into the locker room, and Rocky never, to my recollection, Rocky never talked to the defense. He could care less about what was going on over there. But he was an offensive guy, and he came in. He says, "You don't let him effing score." And I never heard Rocky curse, and he cursed. "You don't let him effing score another touchdown. We win this game." And I think we went out and had 5 picks.
Wow.
The second half, and we ended up winning 45-34 or something like that.
Yeah, we shut him out the second half, and we had 6 takeaways in that second half.
Yeah, so Shayne's a better memory than me, but I think we're at that point. We were like, okay, we're starting to come together, and they had a really good quarterback. I think he might have been an All-American. Shayne, you remember his name?
I don't remember his name, but I know he was up for the Harlan Hero Award that year.
Yeah, he was really good, and we got to him pretty good in the second half, and I think at that point we were like, okay, let's go.
I'm gonna follow up to that. So, how many picks did you have in that game, Jeff? Because I know you led the nation in interceptions. So,
I know I had one to end the game.
Oh yeah,
they were kind of driving at the end, and he sailed one. It was almost like a fair catch. So, free safety was great. You just drop back deeper than the next guy, and then he sailed one, and I was able to pick it and fall down and do that. I think I had won that game.
Shayne, you?
Any picks that game, or
yeah, any picks?
I did have one interception that game as well.
Yeah, you had a few interceptions during the season too for a linebacker.
I had 8 when Jeff had 12. I had 8 that season.
Wow. That's amazing. 20 between the two of you.
That's insane.
So, would you both agree the Kutztown game was the moment, the time?
I would like to go back to, for me, it was the end of the '90s season. We were struggling to begin the season, and I think we ended up going 5-6 by the end of the season. But the last half of the season, we won 3 out of our last 4 games, including a big win, our last game of the season at home against New Haven, who was nationally ranked and on their way to the playoffs had they beaten us.
Wow.
And they came in with I think they were ranked 14th or 15th in the country. They had a top 5 offense. They were scoring 40-some points, 400 or 500 yards a game they were averaging. And we just completely thumped them the last game of the season. Both offensively and defensively, we dominated. I think we beat them 56-30 or something like that. I think the final score was.
Wow.
So for me, ending the season, beating a team like that who was on their way to the playoffs, and knowing that coming back in '91, we basically had everybody returning that was coming back for that following season. So I know ending '90, I was very optimistic that, hey, '91 could be something special because we have everybody coming back. We had a huge win over New Haven. That was all they had to do was beat us. They were in the playoffs. And a nationally ranked team like that, I was like, if we come together as a team and work together and work hard, something can be, we can do some damage next year.
That's a nice motivator going into the offseason.
Oh, absolutely.
And Fran, you talk about the defense. To Shayne's point now, I remember, I think Bill Pettyjohn ran for over 200 yards in that game in 1980.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Bill's a Hall of Famer as well. And he ripped off another 291 against them too. So, yeah, he had a shout out to Bill. I mean, he had, and if I remember, Shayne, it rained like hell during that game.
Yeah, it was a wet game. Yeah.
I don't know.
I did have an interception return for a touchdown that game.
Nice.
Nice.
Not to toot my own horn, though.
That's
Yeah,
okay. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here, man. That's why we're here.
All right. So
ahead,
real
Robbie,
quick,
go ahead.
the question was basically Fickes said it was the Kutztown game. Shayne said it was, actually the last couple games of the previous season. How about this one? Let's just change the question a bit. Was there a moment, it doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but like, I don't know, off the field, in the weight room, film sessions, whatever, where the reality hit you like, hey, we're pretty good. Like we could make a run here. Was there something, in the locker room? I don't know, maybe a coach's comment. Was there something that could have triggered the reality that, hey, if we stick together, good things can happen here?
Well,
What
for
do you
me,
think?
when Coach Reese came in at 90, I mean, he basically set the tone. I mean, we had the hard camps, and I haven't really heard anybody talk about the 90 camp and the 91 camps were excruciating. They were hard. And what nobody's ever said about those first two camps, we had multiple people quit in the middle of the night during camp.
Wow.
We'd be there practice the night before and dinner, and then we show up the next morning for practice. Hey, so-and-so's gone, this guy's gone, this guy packed his stuff, which really brought you together as a team going through those hard camps. And particularly, going 90, we ended 90 strong and rolling out of camp in 91 and going through the hard camp and everybody working so hard and everybody has a year experience under our belt. We're like, this could be a special year.
Yeah.
If we can keep everything healthy, we can do some good things this year.
Were you guys healthy all year? Oh, I'm sorry, Rob.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just didn't know that about the camps. That's a great element.
Yeah. There was 4 or 5 guys that quit, but those first 2 camps, I mean, those were brutal camps.
You can't do that anymore.
No, absolutely not.
No, I remember Rocky first year, 90, he had H2O break, right, for like 2 minutes. Everything was scripted, right, on the board outside the locker room. And then he had H2O plus, like 4 minutes, like, oh, this is perfect.
4 minutes.
2 minutes break, and then you get 4 minutes break for H2O plus was a brutal conditioning period. Where
He set you up.
Coach Ellsworth would get up on a box, and you would be up, downs, roll this way, roll that way. 4 quarters. We started, I think, at like 30 seconds day 1 and worked our way up to 2 minutes at the end of camp. For 4 quarters. So you were doing 16 minutes of up, downs, roll over, up, roll this way, roll that way, this way, that way, to the point where your sweat was mud. It was, and Rocky's thing was in the 4th quarter, it's ours.
Yeah.
And that was all predicated on H2O plus, which we had thought was going to be a benefit, which definitely was not a benefit.
I'm sure the whole idea too was to weed out the weak. Who doesn't want to be here? If you don't want to be here, hit the bricks.
Yep.
And if you're able to survive this, and when it gets hard, that you can count on the guy next to you, that he's not going to quit on you.
Yeah. I know Mac talked about that the last couple of years, about how he was going to make things tough tough on the team to see who wanted to tough it out, who was willing to tough it out. Yeah. Can you guys believe, and this question might be out of order, but can you guys believe it's been 35 years since you won that you were playing ball?
Oh, that's crazy.
I know.
It is.
Think about it all the time.
I looked when I was putting it together, because my team is 45 years, and I'm just sitting there going, holy hell, I just cannot believe it's that long ago. But I still love it. I am passionate about it. When I got it was great with Mac. He used to give me the opportunity to go out to practices, and man, when you're back on that field, it all comes back.
Yeah, I'd do just about anything to be able to suit up one more time and come out of Seth Grove Stadium.
Exactly. Now, I'm good. Yeah. Since I'm going to follow up with that one, since you mentioned it before we started recording, you continued to play rugby after football.
Yeah, well, I was working at Glen Mill Schools outside Philadelphia, and a gentleman that worked there, he had played professionally in Australia and over in France, and they were getting a rugby league team started, They asked me if I would want to play, and I was like, no, because the only experience I had with rugby was like the rugby union, like you see it in universities and stuff here in the States. So rugby league's a little bit different than union. Union's 15 aside, rugby league is 13 aside, and it's more like football, where you basically the offense has the ball for 6 downs. If they don't score, they kick it down, and then everybody comes down and plays defense for 6 tackles, and then you just keep working from there. But just the physicality and the cardiovascular part of the game. I mean that's the biggest difference because I mean you play 2 40-minute halves, they're running clocks.
Mm.
You basically never come off the field.
Oof.
You're playing offense and defense. But yeah, it was a great experience. We had the league outside in the Northeast area. He asked me to try out for the USA team. I made it. I was fortunate enough to be able to travel the world. I've been to Australia 3 times.
Nice.
I was in England, Russia twice. And I played all the best teams around the world, which has been a great experience.
How long did you play for? How old were you when you finally quit playing?
When I started, I was almost 30. So I almost from 30 to 40, I was playing,
Nice.
which was brutal.
Yeah, but you know what? Where I'm at now in my 60s, I look back and say, man, I was in great shape in my 40s.
Yeah. I would
Jeff,
love to be 40 again.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, now I'm sorry, Rob, I'm kind of
No, that's fine.
this one. Jeff, you led the nation in interceptions that year, which is a great stat. I mean, did you have opportunities to go on after ship?
I did. After I left ship, I got a call from Coach Fairbanks and said, "Hey, there's a letter here from you from a guy from New York." I said, "Well, open it, Coach." And he says, "Hey, he wants to represent you. He thinks you have a chance." So I had a brief shot at the Canadian Football League.
Oh.
I flew up to Toronto. I had a tryout with the Toronto Argonauts, and I got cut halfway through day one. So
come on.
It was a quick round trip and a quick dose of reality.
Yeah.
But you got the shot. You got the shot.
Got the shot.
It was cool. I had a lawyer, an agent from New York City, come to my parents' house, sit down with me and my parents in the kitchen.
That's cool.
Talk about how he was going to represent me and everything, and then said, "I'm going to work with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I started working out again and getting ready. And a couple of weeks later, he says, "I want you to go to Toronto. I got this trial for you." And I went and got on the field and practiced. And I believe Don McPherson was the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Rocket Ishmael was on the team, but he was not there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get the chance to cover Rocket.
Yeah.
I remember making a play on a ball that Don McPherson threw, and I thought, holy hell, I'm there. I made the play, and the ball blew my hands apart. It was that fast.
Wow.
And we went through our drills, and they brought us together at the end of the first session and said, "Okay, you have like a track number on." We said, "Okay, the following numbers can go back," and they went right by me. So I went back to the hotel, spent the night, and flew home, and been working ever since.
Yeah, it's cool to have that opportunity, though. It is really cool. Both you guys.
Yeah.
Both of you guys.
Yes, phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, so that 91 team had a very dominant defense, and I know it's hard to compare year to year, but let's be honest, it may be one of the best defenses Ship has ever had, just looking at the number of Hall of Famers off of it. So this is not necessarily a hard question, but it's hard to give credit to everybody. Who were some of the key players and maybe some of the big plays? Obviously, you two guys played a major role in that, but who were some of the key players and maybe a key play or something that happened during that season that is very memorable?
I mean, I know for me, I mean, just being a linebacker, I mean, for me, it would start up front. I mean, I'm playing behind. I got Matt there. I got Big Rob, Al Cormier playing defensive line in front of me. I mean, there's, and part of our defensive scheme was for them guys to occupy space and bodies to allow Kenny and I just to run free and make tackles. So for me, I owe a lot of stuff that I was able to do in my career to those gentlemen because, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to run free and make the tackles. So for me, it started up front with the D line.
How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I would say the same. You got those guys. I think everyone on our defense wanted to be the guy to make the play, right? So, and at the same time, we didn't care who made the play. So everyone wants to make the big hit, wants to make the big tackle, wants to make. But if it's another guy did it, that's fine too. I always talk about Shayne and Kenny not getting any depth, right? You give me any help because you're not getting any depth for these passes because they're always running up to try to make tackles, right? As a linebacker.
Come on, man. I had 17 interceptions in my career.
That's an amazing number.
That I think that is more amazing than my 21. I mean, I was free safety for 2 years.
Right. As a linebacker, that's pretty legit.
As a linebacker to get that many, that's incredible.
Yeah, but 38 interceptions between two guys, 38 interceptions, that's insane.
Not only is 17, but I don't know if it's still a school record. I had 4 for interceptions. That was a school record at the time I left. So I don't know if that's still a school record or not.
Yeah. 4 for touchdowns.
4 for touchdowns, yes.
Yeah, right.
Jeez.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Nice.
As far as special plays or anything, I would go to the last 3 games of the 91 season. We played like crap against Clare and had a bad loss. So we basically knew after that every game was a playoff game. Mm-hmm. And East Stroudsburg, New Haven, and then East Stroudsburg again in the playoffs, they all came down to the last play of the game. East Stroudsburg at home. I got an interception on the goal line at the last play of the game to close that game out.
Wow.
New Haven, Jeff blocks the kick to save us that game, and then we get to the playoffs against Stroudsburg, and that's when Strish blocks the extra point. So those last three games there went down to the wire.
Wow, nail biters.
Yeah.
I got it, and I mean, just looking at it, and you just ran through the names, their first names. You got Kenny Pickett and linebacker. You got Rob Davis. You got I don't know, was Cormier, was he an all conference player?
I don't think so, but he was a hell of a defensive tackle.
Yeah. And you got Jeff in the secondary. I mean, there were so many guys on that team on the defensive side of the ball that just made huge. Who are the other guys? I've heard those 5 names a lot. Who are the other guys?
Well, offense or defense?
Defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got Eric Little,
Eric,
who was first team all conference when he first came, his junior year, 90. I don't know what he was if 91, but he came in and was strong right away.
Came over from Juniata, right?
Yeah, he came from Juniata, yes.
Yeah. And he stepped right in and he was strong right away.
Jerry Dokes,
Mike Green, they were all great players. Jerome Presley, and even Dougie Seidenstricker, who was a freshman, who was my backup as a freshman, who later went on to become an All-American and a Hall of Famer. So it was another guy on that team that was, who's been inducted Hall of Fame. But I just think in general, just the even Tad Pribula on offense, Bill Pettyjohn, the offensive line with Corey Bornmann and Brian High and Joe Topacek. There was a lot of really good guys who probably didn't get the recognition they deserved.
I was going to ask you
well together.
That was my next question. Give me some of the offensive guys, and I know Pettyjohn.
And I think it's interesting just because both of you are defensive guys. Like, it's interesting when you do have an offensive guy, a defensive guy, but I like this. Like, who did you guys see on the other side of the ball as the major contributors? Obviously, the big names and the stats, but I love to hear it from you guys because you guys know the truth behind the scenes.
Corey Bornmann for me.
Yeah, Corey Bornmann was an animal. Corey Bornmann, absolutely. I mean, just my experience going against him every day in practice. I mean, I knew how strong he was, and he was, had his wrestling background, how he was great using leverage and stuff like that. But I mean, he always set the tone on the offense. And a couple years ago, Howie had sent me the YouTube game of the East Stroudsburg game, and I just happened to catch an offensive play how he just buried this nose guard, just manhandled him. So I just sat there for the rest of the second half, and I was just watching him every play. He demolished that East Stroudsburg defensive line. Play in, play out. He just manhandled them guys. We're just tossing guys all over the place. But
Wow.
he was a hell of a football player.
Nice. Who was quarterback in that? Who was quarterback in that at that
Brian
time?
Gilbert.
That was Brian Gilbert. Okay.
Yeah, Brian
He had a
transferred in
great
from Michigan
year.
State. Yeah.
Yep. Pettyjohn. You also had guys in the backfield. Marcus Maffa did a lot of the grunt work, blocking, catching the ball out of the backfield. Winston Horshaw, who I think was a very underutilized threat that we would have had. He was great running the ball, great catching the ball out of the backfield. And not only with that 91 team, he led the nation in kickoff returns that year.
Kickoff returns, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, how's that guy not getting the ball all the time?
Yeah, I would put him up there with the best returners in Shippensburg history. Wow. If he's not one, he's 1B.
Interesting.
How about this one? Talk about the coaches and their role in building such a successful team. Because again, it was only Rocky's second full season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
And not just Rocky, Coach O'Neill, and the whole staff. Like, just talk about their role.
Well, I think for Coach Reese, like I said, he had to set the tone early when he came in there. Hey, this is my team. What you guys did before, it doesn't matter. You guys are mine now. So he really, through the hard camps and the hard practices, he really brought you together as a team. But he wasn't just a coach that was for football. He would ask you how your family's doing, how your girlfriend's doing. You could talk to him about just regular everyday life, and it's not just predicated on football, which really means a lot. And you can connect to people, and it really brings that family atmosphere into the team.
Any other guys, Jeff? How about D-backs? Who was D-back coach?
D-back coach was Coach Fairbanks, and Coach Fairbanks was the best. I had him for 2 years. That was the first coach I had for multiple years as a D-back coach, and I loved Coach Fairbanks. Still keep in touch with him a little bit, but he let us play, and he loved to watch us. I think he enjoyed the group we had: myself, Dokes, Eric Little, Mike G, Jerome. I think he liked us watching us play and how we got after it in that sense. But he made us better. He made us better by getting in the film room, going into practice, putting us in the position that we needed to be in. I think I said it on the earlier podcast I was on, when I first moved to free safety, I think Eric Little was making most of the calls because I was not smart enough to make them. but he'd be looking back at me yelling, "Yo, Fick, call this." I'm like, "Okay, Eric," and we call it. But I think I grew into it as my senior year. But Coach Fairbanks was instrumental in making us a better unit. That's for sure.
Here's a question that I didn't give you earlier, but because your defense was the way it was and you had the players that you had, did you guys freelance a lot of stuff? Did you ever take it out and just kind of say like, no, we're going to do this? Or
I don't recall a whole lot of freelancing that we would call disguises. We would disguise our coverages somewhat, but not a lot of freelancing.
Within our scheme, everybody had gap responsibilities and stuff like that. So it was one of them. If you didn't do your job, you were selling out somebody behind you.
Yeah, makes sense. So we've talked about a lot of the memories and stuff, big plays and all that kind of stuff. What's your biggest memory, Jeff? I'll start with you. Like, what's the memory, biggest thing from that year? And it could be a play, it could be a moment.
I think the biggest takeaway from it was it was my senior year. It was my best year at Shippensburg, and I left there, and then to your point, 35 years later, that memory sticks with me. That's the memory I have, that we had a fabulous senior year. I'm lucky enough to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm lucky enough to have connections with you, with Rob, with many other people for Red Raider for Life. And some of you who aren't in Red Raider for Life. And my coach in basketball in high school said, we won a district title my sophomore and senior year. He said, they can never take you out away from you.
Yeah.
Right. You won the district. Whatever happens in life, they can never take that away from you.
Boy.
What happened at Shippensburg in those years can never be taken away from me. And those memories are golden.
Yeah. Nice. Agreed. How about you?
It was just a very special season. I mean, I know I talked about how the season ended, those last 3 games, but I know we touched on it earlier, that Kutztown game. I mean, just the fact that being down 35-14 at halftime at home, which was a rare event because normally at home we play pretty well, but we just came out and just laid a dud that first half. And the fact that seeing Coach Reese's intensity and how fired up he was at the locker room, which he never did, and he never did before, and I never see him do it after. But just the fact that he addressed the defense and got us motivated to go out there and have 6 takeaways and, throw a shutout in that second half, and we win going away 45-35. I mean, that was just a very special moment. And, it would have been easy for people just to quit. I mean, you're down 21 points at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew going out that second half, we have to pitch a shutout. If we give up any points, chances are we're not going to win the game.
Right.
So we went out there and pitched the shutout, had the 6 takeaways, and went about our business. But it was just, that's a great memory. And I mean, I don't know if the coaches really knew about it, but during the course of that year, as we started out on Tuesday nights, a few of us would partake in some beverages down at Wibb's.
Oh, easy, Shayne.
The old,
it was 35 years ago. You're good.
The beer buffalo meetings on Tuesday nights, which started out as a small group of us, but then as the season went on, I mean, it grew and grew and grew and grew till we had basically half the team there on Tuesday nights partaking in some beverages because, football players are superstitious. We're winning some games. Hey, Tuesday night at Wibb's, we got to have a meeting. So, I mean, but, just the memories and the camaraderie and the friendships that you make that year. I mean, it's a special thing that, we're always going to be connected with that 91 team.
Oh, yeah. No
Shayne's story actually leads us into the next question very well.
Oh, yeah.
All teams bond, all teams connect. But the fact that you guys were that successful, what do you think? Is there a special bond for a team like that? Because you had to have something special. Let's be honest. Not everybody got a chance to do what you guys did, win 10 ball games. Like that's phenomenal. What do you think? Do you think it is a unique bond? Do you think it's different?
I thought it was different because, I mean, a lot of teams you'll see people separate when they leave the locker room. But for us, those couple of years, and in particular that 91 team, when everybody hung out together. It wasn't like the DBs are over here, linebackers are over here, offensive guys, defensive guys. Everybody hung out together and enjoy each other's company and, razzed on each other and, and celebrated wins. And, it was a very special team, that 91 team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, even to this day, we're still in contact with each other. Mm-hmm. Whether it's homecoming or whether it's just text, for whatever, whether it's meeting up at the beach for a day up where Shayne lives up there in Ocean County. It's just a good group of guys that continue to communicate. And the thing is, we might not see each other or talk to each other for 4, 6, 12 months, but when we catch up, when we see each other, it's like nothing's changed.
Right.
We're all right there.
1991 all over again.
And Rob, I know you're well aware of that. You got your crew that goes up to the lake every year and does that. And
yeah, just a special group of guys.
It's the best thing, right? It's the best thing.
Yeah. They're our brothers. Yeah, that's what it is. It's truly his family.
Well, you're right. You go through that grind, man, of camp and all that. I think especially back in those days, man, because camp was so freaking hard. And, you're going 2 days, 3 days, depending on the day of the week and all. And I laugh because, I go up and watch practices now and everybody's just hitting dummies, landing on dummies. I'm going, man, nobody hits anything hard. It's like, man, dude, just falling on the ground was hard, Now you guys are both in the Hall of Fame, and that's, like I said, I think that unit, probably one of the, like Rob said, one of the greatest defenses ever out of Shippensburg. you got you in there, Mac, Kenny Pickett's in there, Rob Davis is in there, Howie Guarini's in there. We didn't talk about Howie, but man, another a great
Oh,
player on that
phenomenal.
team, great kicker. And what is that like getting into the Hall of Fame? I'm never going to see it, but like, what's that experience like? How's it make you feel knowing all those guys are in there with you?
For me, when I got the letter, it's kind of like you see on ESPN or whatever. The guy comes, knocks on the door. It's not
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
dramatic.
right. Yep.
It's not that dramatic. But you open the letter and you say you've been elected to the Hall of Fame, and it's a validation of the commitment and in the work you put in to get there. You don't ever want to strive to say, I'm going to get into the Hall of Fame. It's you play football because you love to play the game, and you're fortunately, you got to play at such a level that it afforded you that opportunity to get into that Hall of Fame. But that's not the goal. The goal is to enjoy the game, to play the game because you love it and you love playing with your teammates. And the result is that you played it at a level that afforded you that opportunity, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it. I cherish that I'm in the Hall of Fame. I do. I'm not going to downplay that.
No.
But
no,
it's secondary to hanging out on homecoming with the guys I hang out with,
mm-hmm.
and the guys that I text with. Even the past few weeks with some situations I've been in, that's more meaningful to me than that Hall of Fame induction.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just a validation of all the hard work and time that you put into playing the game. But I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, I wouldn't have been as successful if I wasn't, if not for the guys that we played behind, with Rob and Mac and Al Cormier and the other guys, and Kenny playing next to me. I mean, that's, I know I went out there and played every day hard, and I worked hard in the off season that I wanted. It meant a lot for me to know that my teammates depended on me, and I always wanted to make sure that I would be there, whether I was hurt or not. Come Saturday morning, 43 was going to be on the field, no matter what. But like I said, it's just a validation of all the hard work and time that you put in. Which it's a great honor, but unfortunately, you go in the Hall of Fame individually, but it's basically a team award because without your
There
teammates,
you go.
Right.
you're not
Good
gonna,
point.
you're not gonna have the success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well said, Shayne.
Very well said. Very well said.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, yeah, great job, you guys. How about this one? Any last thoughts about the 1991 Red Raiders?
Excuse me.
For me, it's just it was just a great group of guys. I mean, a lot of us were together for 3 years. We got a lot of memories, a lot of great times on and off the field. And like Jeff said, even when we get together now, I mean, there's people that we don't really have contact with on a frequent basis. But whenever we see each other, like I said, it's 1991 all over again. It's hugs and kisses and stories and all good stuff. But
Some of the same lies every year, I'm sure.
Yeah. and the story, next year I'll have 21 interceptions by the time we get to homecoming next year.
Yeah, I agree with Shayne. I mean, it's just back to the Fran's point earlier. 35 years, yeah, freaked me out. Like, holy hell, 35 years I'm out of school. I mean, we're old.
I got the hair, man.
I got the hair.
Looking good, gentlemen.
I'm usually every 3 week cut. I'm on a 5 week, and my hairdresser or my barber is out 2 more weeks. So I might have a man bun if you ever have me back in 2 weeks. And I would never have that to tell you the truth. But it's just so much fun to talk with you guys. I was just talking. I was out with I don't know, Rob. You might remember Brian Collins.
Yeah.
From Shippensburg. I was out with him last night, and we were just talking about things. And I told him about our dinner that I was out with Steyer and Luke and you and Gally and all those people. Like, how many years ago? Like, that's about a 6-year stretch. Jeff
Yeah.
Everly was there that
Yep.
night. So it's the camaraderie. It's not just these championship teams, but just ship football in general. And that, Rob got us all together, for a dinner, and how fun was it? Oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that, and we're talking about years apart, and how well it went, and it was really cool. So
That's been the fun thing about RR4L that I've enjoyed the most is meeting
Yes.
all these guys, man. Like I didn't know any of you or those guys, just a few years ago. Now I got this network of guys that are just all a good bunch of guys too. All
Yes.
a lot of good characters, and the thing that gets me with your team, I can really relate because our 81 team was very similar, and we might have been more offensive than defensive the way you guys were. But just the bond, we'd go out to dinners together, and we were roommates, and all of that. I mean, it really is special. But I got a question for you on that. Who was the most psycho individual on the team?
Terry Meehan.
And why is that? What was he doing?
Not appropriate for
Okay, but okay, ready? Real quick on Meehan, just 2 Saturdays ago, we were driving to shoot some clay pigeons, and I saw Parkland High School, where Dr. Meehan is now. Yes, Dr. Meehan. I'm not sure if he's a principal anymore, or if he's like assistant superintendent.
Yeah.
He is very high in the administration.
Yes, he is.
Terry Meehan.
Yes.
Great guy.
That's a scary thought. He's teaching our youth.
We also have, like, our team had Dave Calvario, who was master pregame motivator. We used to just sit there and wait for Calvario to give us the pregame hype talk. Usually he had on a pair of super short shorts and a half-cut t-shirt, and he looked like a crazy man. But did you guys have a guy like that? Was there a motivator on the unit? Anybody boisterous? Not you or Pickett or Mac?
I don't think any of us are big rah scream and yell kind of guys.
Yeah.
It was one of them, we're bucknet chin strap and go out there and do some work. It's it was lead by example. I didn't need to scream and yell. Just strap it up and go to work.
There you go.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we were anyone. Everyone was quiet, and they say, I remember even Coach Bott and Coach Reese said it's a business trip.
Yeah.
And that was what it was. It was, we're here to play.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to yell. We don't need to scream. Save that for the field.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate the time. You guys were great. I think, what a great team, and
phenomenal team.
Part of that tremendous legacy of winning, and hopefully this year you get back on the winning track.
We'll get back on track. Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So stay with it, and thanks again, guys. Good seeing you. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Fran. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Fran.
Yeah, on the 29th, Shayne. We'll see you homecoming.
See you at homecoming.
Yes, sir.
All right.
See you guys.